Hello friends, followers and channel members, welcome to another video here in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and in this special preview video we are going to be taking a first look at REX's new Accuseasons Advanced Edition to be released shortly. Now, if you're not already familiar with REX Accuseasons, it is a program which essentially replaces the default textures for the vegetation in Microsoft Flight Simulator and adds seasons throughout every week of the year. It does this via its installer, which also means that it affects the entire world as well. So if it is summer up in Europe and you're crossing across into the southern hemisphere on a nice long haul flight, by the time you get to somewhere like Australia it would be winter, summer in Europe and winter in Australia, of course. And the world textures from REX Accuseasons reflect this, so it doesn't just change the entire globe into one preset, it is actually defined based on its geographical location. REX Accuseasons also gives you the choice of editing the vegetation as well. So for example, the tree height. Lots of people say the default tree height in Microsoft Flight Simulator is just simply too big. Well, with REX you can choose either large, neutral or small. Now I've always used small because I do find it much more realistic and less encroaching, particularly in some airports when you're coming into land. You can also set the colour intensity as well, so you can have neutral colours, cool colours or warm colours. Again, personally I think the cool colours help to reduce the amount of sort of oversaturation which we know Microsoft Flight Simulator does suffer from. However, the Accuseasons program only changes the vegetation colour to reflect the change in seasons. In this video though, we're going to be taking a look at the new Advanced Edition, which does so much more to help bring a full seasonal change all year round to Microsoft Flight Simulator. It does this, and as we'll see a little bit later in the video, it also has some really nice additional features as well to help things look much more realistic. If you are a user of REX Accuseasons already, then ensure that this is uninstalled. Now, when I used the Windows uninstaller, I did find that it hadn't removed the REX Accuseasons folder from my community folder, so I just went ahead and did this to make sure that everything was clean before I began the installation process of the new Advanced Edition. It's very important that when you have downloaded REX Accuseasons Advanced Edition, you do not install this within Microsoft Flight Simulator's folders, especially the community folder. Install it somewhere entirely separate, and also outside of any program files folders as well. It's also advised to run this program once installed as administrator, and if, like me, you require a .NET framework to be installed, then that's pretty simply done, as the program guides you to where you need to go to download this. Let it download, and of course then just install it via the exe file. Once that's all done, then you should be up and running and able to open the Accuseasons Advanced Edition program. The first time you run the program, you set the initial settings, basically going through and deciding what kind of textures you want. We'll explain all of these in a little while, but whatever you set in this menu here, you will be able to change later on, so don't worry if you want to change these in the future. The home screen then gives you access to everything you need: automation, presets, or select by date. REX's automation basically means that you can set up what you want and then forget about it, and REX will do everything automatically. However, of course, your PC needs to be turned on at the time you set for the automation to be installed into your simulator. The preset scene then gives you, the user, the chance to go in and fine-tune everything that you see. So, what is new in Accuseasons Advanced is where the REX Accuseasons of old simply changed the vegetation, so you saw changes in the colorings of the trees and foliage. The big new feature of this Advanced Edition is the terrain changes. This, as it says, gives the landscape a different look, meaning that things like all the fields will change from harvest fields to planted fields, that kind of stuff, depending on the season. Now, at the moment, this is only developed and working in the United States, Canada, the UK, Ireland, Iceland, and most of Europe. However, REX are looking, of course, at adding to this as time goes on. Using this feature then, you can go through and it's quite obvious what kind of scenes are available. You'll notice at the moment, however, that there is only the fall and the winter. Well, given the time of year that it currently is, then we can expect that the spring and summer will follow as we get a little bit closer, and REX of course will be working on this at the moment. But if you go through and select any of these, you can see that we've got early autumn, mid-autumn, late autumn, and that will change the ground textures, not the foliage and the tree colours, but just the sort of fields and, as I say, the ground textures, which is something that the original Accuseasons didn't do. There's also going to be more of these added as well in terms of these presets. As we can see down at the bottom, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're still there, but greyed out at the moment. But of course, REX are looking to add to this. Winter at the moment, there is still only one page and only one preset currently available. Again, time will tell as to whether REX are going to add more of these in the future. Installing one is very straightforward. Simply pick the one that you want. At the moment, I'd say we're in early autumn, so I'm going to simply apply this. It will then download this terrain preset. It's all done in the background, and it's quite important to note that you cannot have Microsoft Flight Simulator running whenever you are installing any of the Accuseasons files. This is a bit of a pain because it does mean that you can't do it live on the fly and see the changes within Microsoft Flight Simulator, but that's presumably because, of course, what it is doing is going in and actually editing, changing and copying new files into the Flight Simulator's program. Once that's done, then it's time to have a look at what is next. So we've just changed the terrain. Let's have a look at the vegetation presets that are available. Now, of course, here we've got a full list of seasons, mainly because this is what was available in the original Accuseasons. So whilst they may have been tweaked, etc., we've got a full set of the 4 seasons. And we've also got quite a lot of different pages to go through. It's simply about choosing the one that you want. Of course, you don't have to worry about doing this if you want to let the automation do it, and that is what is meant to give you the most realistic experience. I'm going to pick one of these just for now, and it's fall at the moment. Let's have a quick look at these. Crisp afternoon. That looks quite neat, so we'll get that into the simulator. Again, the simulator has to be shut down whilst we do this. A final preset then, which is available for us and is brand new again with the Advanced Edition, is the weather feature. Now, this sounds quite exciting on the face of it because we know at the moment that there are no real weather texture add-ons for Microsoft Flight Simulator. So I want to say right from the offset that this does not change any of the cloud textures in Microsoft Flight Simulator. It is literally just a weather preset, similar to weather presets that are available for free on flightsim.to. So again, we have got the different seasons and plenty to choose from as well. All you will do is install these into your simulator, and then once installed, these weather presets are available in Microsoft Flight Simulator for you to select from the usual drop-down menu instead of just choosing scattered, broken, rain, stormy. These should be available for you to select as well. But it doesn't change the actual textures of the clouds, it just gives you a weather scenario. If, like me though, you don't want to rely on the automation of REX to do everything for you, perhaps because you don't have your PC on 24 hours a day, like I certainly don't, so you can go through and just select an actual date. Now, REX has provided 52 updates for this, meaning that there is one for every week of the year. This personally is what I like to do, just because I normally update it every couple of weeks, something like that. Simply go in, select the month, so just looking at the date for now. Enable terrain installation, because obviously if you don't do this, this is a new feature again of the Advanced Edition. If you don't do this, you're only going to be changing the vegetation and not the landscape, the fields, etc. So make sure that is enabled, and then simply just pick the week that you want to install. REX Accuseasons Advanced Edition also features some enhanced season changes. So the enhanced content has got at the moment the Northeast Australia coastal region, St. Bart's, which of course removes some of the trees from the approach so they're not encroaching in the way, the southeast coastal and Florida area, as well as Colorado aspen, and also western US and Canada larch. Of course, it goes through and explains exactly what they've done to make these specific to those regions. And again, more enhanced content is planned in the future. The options that you picked right at the start, the very first time you ran the simulation, can be changed in the options page. So as I said a little bit earlier, I prefer to go for the cool colours just because it reduces the colour saturation. Now, the resilient colours, this is a new feature again of the Advanced Edition, and at the moment in the standard colour preset, what happens is the vegetation changes ever so slightly based upon the ground textures, and it can sometimes look a little bit discoloured. Resilient colours basically means that if there is a bit of discoloration from the ground, satellite photos, that kind of stuff, then the foliage and vegetation around that won't change. So resilient colours basically is the more realistic option. Of course, as you could do with the original Accuseasons, you can change the vegetation height. I prefer short because a little bit more realistic. I prefer the irregular type of the deciduous canopy. And then this is another new feature as well. The Advanced Edition allows you to select standard density or low density for city and town vegetation. Now, this is a really nice touch because quite often you'll find, particularly when you're flying low and slow over some large built-up areas, trees will quite often just pop in to the most random place and break the immersion a little bit, like kind of in the middle of a building. This aims to remove all of that, so low density vegetation in these built up areas means again you're getting a much more realistic view. So how does it actually look inside the simulator? This is a video of the original REX Accuseasons, and this is what it looks like with the new Advanced Edition. It quite clearly stands out, the lack of vegetation in the built-up areas, as that is what we have set from this new version. As for the landscape changes then, this is the old Accuseasons just looking out over East Midlands Airport, and if we now check out the new Advanced Edition Accuseasons, you can see the fields aren't quite as colourful and intense. Obviously, it's now September, so the land is looking much cooler. Checking out different parts of the globe then, I actually was quite impressed. I knew it was obviously going to change the ground textures, but it's changed them very subtly in places, so it's not like a complete massive change, but the more you look at it, you actually realise that it reflects the time of season that you do have installed. When you couple this then with the vegetation that it's got, then I'm happy to say that Accuseasons does seem to live up to the promise it makes. Everything looks like the season it was meant to look like. It's not just vegetation changes, but the entire landscape is affected. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you've seen in this video regarding the upcoming Advanced Edition of Accuseasons being released. Let me know your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope you have enjoyed this preview video. If you have, please don't forget to leave a like, and of course you can also support the channel now further if you wish using a super thanks. If you're new to us, then also don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos here on the channel, and of course our live streams. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye for now.